They threw her out like garbage. Called her a monster. Erased her from the family fortune. But the woman they abandoned in that rain-soaked alley. She just became the most dangerous person they'll ever cross. And it all started with a plate of pasta. Elena Chen had everything a girl could want. Mansion in the hills. Trust fund with more zeros than a phone number. A family name that opened every door in the city. Then came the accident. One moment, she's driving to her culinary school graduation. The next, twisted metal, shattered glass, and a scar that carved its way from her left eyebrow down to her jaw. The doctors said she was lucky to be alive. Her family said she was lucky they didn't throw her out sooner. "You're an embarrassment," her mother hissed, unable to look at her. "How can we show our faces at the country club with that walking around?" Her father was worse. Cold. Calculated. The Chen empire is built on image, Elena. And you? You're bad for business. Her younger sister Omaya, the golden child, the perfect one, actually smiled as the security guards packed Elena's bags. Finally. I was so tired of being the other Chen daughter. Now there's only one that matters. 3 days after her 25th birthday, Elena found herself on the street with a duffel bag, $200 in cash, and a culinary degree nobody would let her use. Every restaurant she applied to took one look at her face and said, "We'll call you." They never did. Rock bottom tastes like day old bread from the gas station and rain that won't stop falling. The alley behind Gino's Italian restaurant wasn't the worst place she'd slept. But it was close. Elena had learned to time her nights around the kitchen's closing. If she stayed quiet, she could warm herself by the steam vents, and sometimes, the cook would leave scraps in the dumpster. Tonight, she was going through a trash bag when she heard it. Click. The sound of a gun being cocked. Well. What do we have here? Elena spun around. 3 men in expensive suits stood at the alley entrance. The one in the middle held a gun. Behind them, she could see a black sedan with its engine running. Please," she stammered. "I'm just stealing," the gunman finished. "You know what we do to thieves in this neighborhood." But then, the fourth man stepped out of the shadows. Tall. Broad-shouldered. A scar of his own running down his neck. When he spoke, the other 3 men immediately straightened. "Stand down." "But boss, she's..." I said. "Stand down." The man they called boss walked toward Elena slowly, his dark eyes studying her. Not with disgust. Not with pity. With curiosity. "You're not from around here," he said. It wasn't a question. Elena lifted her chin. If she was going to die in this alley, she'd do it with dignity. "No. I'm not." "You're hungry?" "Yes." "You know how to cook?" He nodded toward the duffel bag where her culinary school certificate picked out. "Better than anyone you've ever met," Elena said. And maybe it was the hunger or the exhaustion or the fact that she had nothing left to lose, but she meant it. The man, later she'd learn his name was Dante Russo, head of the Russo crime family, smiled. Actually smiled. "Prove it." Dante's mansion was like stepping into a different universe. Marble floors. Crystal chandeliers. And a kitchen that made Elena's heart actually skip a beat. Viking ranges. A wood-fired pizza oven. Knives that probably cost more than her entire education. "Make me dinner," Dante said, pulling out a chair at the kitchen island. "You have 1 hour. Impress me, then you have a job. Disappoint me." He let the sentence hang. Elena rolled up her sleeves. She found fresh tomatoes, garlic, basil. Homemade pasta dough in the fridge, good quality, but not great. Olive oil that smelled like Tuscany. Her hands moved on autopilot, muscle memory taking over. 45 minutes later, she placed a bowl in front of Dante Russo. Spaghetti aglio e olio. Simple. Humble. The kind of dish that couldn't hide behind fancy techniques or expensive ingredients. It was just honest. Dante took one bite. Then another. Then he closed his eyes and, for just a moment, this dangerous man looked like a little boy tasting his grandmother's cooking. Madonna, he whispered. Where did you learn this? My nana, Elena said softly. Before my family decided she wasn't worth knowing either. Dante opened his eyes. You're hired. $5,000 a week. You cook for me and my men. You stay in the guest house. And nobody touches you. Understood? One of his men started to protest. Boss, we don't even know her. Dante's hand slammed on the table. I said understood. Yes, boss. Elena should have been terrified. She was making a deal with the devil. Instead, she smiled for the first time in months. Working for a Mafia family wasn't what Elena expected. Sure, there were guns. And suspicious packages. And conversations that stopped the moment she entered a room. But there was also a laughter. Loyalty. A weird, dysfunctional family that actually cared about each other. And they loved her cooking. Elena. Marco, one of Dante's enforcers, would shout. Tell me you made the lasagna today. Only if you tell me you didn't get blood on your good suit again, she'd shoot back. You wound me. That was one time. Dante ate every meal with her. Breakfast. Lunch. Dinner. They'd sit in that massive kitchen, and he'd ask about her day, her dreams, her life before. And slowly, Elena realized something terrifying. She was falling for him. Not because he was powerful. Not because he saved her. But because when Dante looked at her scar, he didn't flinch. He'd trace it gently with his finger and say, we match. Yours is from a knife fight, Elena pointed out. Yours is from survival. That's more impressive. 3 months in, Dante took her to the city's best plastic surgeon. Not because he wanted her to change, but because he wanted her to have the choice. Elena looked at herself in the mirror for a long time. The scar had become part of her story. Part of her strength. I think I'll keep it, she said. Dante kissed her forehead. Good. It's one of my favorite things about you. But then he pulled back, suddenly serious. Elena, there's something I need to tell you. About your family. Turns out, the Chen family wasn't just rich. They were dirty rich. Dante showed Elena the files. Money laundering. Tax evasion. Connections to weapons trafficking. Her father had built his empire on blood money, and Maya was learning the business. They're trying to expand into my territory, Dante explained. I was investigating them when I found you. Elena, your father is planning to. Let me guess, Elena interrupted. Take over your operations. Probably frame you for something. Eliminate the competition. How did you? I grew up in that house, Dante. I know how my father thinks. Elena's jaw tightened. What do you need? Evidence. Something that can't be disputed. But Elena, if we go after them, there's no going back. Elena thought about the mother who couldn't look at her. The father who threw her away. The sister who smiled as she suffered. Good, she said. I'm done going back. The plan was simple. Elegant. Perfect. Elena would cater her father's annual charity gala, the one where he schmoozes with politicians and billionaires. The one where he pretends to be a pillar of the community. She'd volunteer through a fake catering company. They'd never recognize her anyway. The night of the gala, Elena walked into her family's mansion wearing a chef's coat and her scar like a badge of honor. Her mother glanced at her. Looked away. Didn't recognize her own daughter. Perfect. While Elena's food kept the guests distracted, her pan-seared scallops were that good. Dante's tech guy cloned her father's computer. Every dirty deal. Every illegal transaction. Every piece of evidence they needed. But then Maya walked into the kitchen. Elena froze. Her sister stared at her. Really looked at her. And for one horrible moment, recognition flickered in Maya's eyes. That scar. Maya whispered. Elena. Elena didn't answer. She just smiled, the same cold smile her sister had given her that day in the mansion. I'm sorry, Maya said suddenly. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what they were going to do after you left. I didn't know about the business, the trafficking. I save it. Elena's voice was ice. You chose your side. Now live with it. The FBI arrived during dessert. Federal agents swarming a charity gala makes for excellent entertainment. Elena watched from the kitchen as they arrested her father. Her mother fainted, always dramatic. Maya tried to run but didn't make it past the front door. The Chen Empire. Dismantled. Assets seized. Properties confiscated. Including a certain restaurant property her father owned downtown. Prime location. Perfect for a. What are you going to call it? Dante asked 6 months later, his arms wrapped around Elena as they stood in front of her new restaurant. Scar, Elena said. The name is Scar. Really? Really? Because every scar tells a story. And mine? Mine brought me home. Dante kissed her neck. Speaking of home. Marco wants to know if you're making lasagna tonight. Marco can wait. I'm busy. Busy with what? Elena turned in his arms, her hand resting on her stomach. Busy thinking about how we are going to baby-proof a Mafia mansion. Dante's eyes went wide. Yo. 3 months. Surprise. The most dangerous man in the city actually teared up. Madonna. A baby. We are having a baby. Try not to teach them how to make cement shoes before they're 5, okay? No promises. Scar became the hottest restaurant in the city. Reservations booked 6 months out. Celebrities flying in from LA just to taste Elena's osobuco. Elena's family tried to reach out from prison. Letters. Phone calls. Begging for forgiveness. She burned the letters unopened. Because here's the thing about being thrown away, you learn what you're really made of. You learn that family isn't about blood, it's about who shows up when you're eating the old bread in an alley. Maya got out on parole after 2 years. She showed up at the restaurant's back door, thin and broken. I don't expect forgiveness, Maya said. I just wanted you to know I testified against them. Against father. I told them everything. Elena studied her sister. Saw the genuine remorse. The real change. We are hiring dishwashers, Elena said finally. Minimum wage. No special treatment. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. Thank Dante. He's the one who believes in second chances. I'm just the one who cooks. But that was a lie. Elena Russo, formerly Elena Chen, believed in second chances too. She believed in transformation. In the power of a good meal to change everything. In love that doesn't flinch. And as she watched Dante play with their daughter in the restaurant's kitchen, as Marco argued with the new sous chef about proper risotto technique, as her family, her real family, laughed and lived and loved, Elena realized something: her old family didn't abandon her. They set her free. They called her a monster, a disgrace, an embarrassment to the Chen name. Now, she's the queen of the city's most powerful crime family, owner of a Michelin-starred restaurant, mother, wife, survivor. And the Chen family, they are still rotting in prison, eating cafeteria food. Funny how things work out. After all, revenge is a dish best served with homemade pasta. Never let them see you break. Make them watch you build an empire instead.